Welcome, everybody, to the Runna Podcast Live, empowered by Lululemon. Thank you all for coming. This episode's a little bit different for those listening at home. We have a live audience, which is terrifying.
Something very new for us. There was a point in time where, well, not very long ago, probably 50 weeks ago, when we launched the Runna Podcast and we were hiring a meeting room on the top floor of the office. So to do this here feels quite ridiculous.
Yeah, we are here at the Runna Race Hub celebrating the marathon yesterday. Congratulations to everybody that ran. And yeah, thank you for everyone that cheered and for all the cheer zone people. If you ran yesterday, give us a cheer. And if you use Runna, give us a cheer. London Marathon really is the epitome of community grit and heart, and it's why I love it so much, and it's why it needs celebrating today.
Absolutely. So before we dive into it, for those listening at home, and maybe for the 0.1% of the London running world who don't know who you are, Anya, who is the Anya Culling?
Hi, it's me. A lot of you will know, but I only picked up running in lockdown when a lot of people did. I did my first marathon in 2019 in a really respectable time of 4 hours and 34 minutes. In the lockdown, I then really knuckled down and found so much joy in running that I stuck at it. And by 2022, I came back to London Marathon after my first one in 2019 and did my breakthrough race in a time of 2 hours and 36 minutes, which gave me like a great platform and the opportunity to work with some amazing brands like Runna and Lululemon, and my social media took off, and I couldn't be like more grateful for all of that. But I think then my priorities shifted a bit. I plateaued with my running, and the goalpost changed, and what success meant to me changed a bit. And now I'm really happy to, I think, have found perfect balance with my own brand, my own career. And after this weekend, I think I'm back running in PB shape.
Moving back in the right direction. And I missed a few bits, including representing your country at the same time.
Yeah.
But I guess we like to start the podcast with a particular way. And for context, Anya and I have been avoiding each other all day. So we didn't use up all of our conversation, but we've also been around each other all day, including already doing 2 podcasts and had lunch together. But I'm yet to ask you, Anya, how are you?
I'm really good. I've pulled up better than I thought. Yeah, I'm so over the moon. I think I'm running on adrenaline, but yesterday the race couldn't have gone better for me.
So tell us about the race. What was your goal?
My goal was just a really competitive time. I wanted to show that like I wasn't a one-trick pony, that I could balance everything, and I wanted to prove to myself that when I put in the work, I'm still, a talented runner. And I finished with a time of 2:36 yesterday, which was 90 seconds off my PB, which was nowhere near the aim. I think I went into it hoping for 2:37. And now I'm like, imagine if I'd actually aimed for the PB, like what could have been, but there's always another race.
And I guess with that in mind, like you have been through this amazing journey with your running. And I think you're really on an upward trajectory again, which is so exciting. What have you done to create the balance that you spoke about?
Yeah, I think we were kind of talking about it earlier. I think I really tried to be 100% good at everything. Like I tried to give my running 100%. I tried to give my career 100%. I tried to give my relationships and friendships 100%. And in turn, I was almost failing at them all. As in, I wasn't failing, but like I wasn't performing the best as I could in any of those areas of my life. And it was learning to realize that it doesn't have to be a third of my life, relationships and family, a third running and a third work. It was finding the right balance for me. And it's all kind of merged into running now. Like my best friends, my boyfriend, everybody run with me. My work's almost running, and it allowed me to really excel in my own running. So maybe I'm just all consumed running. But I think the two brands or people that supported me, Runna and Lululemon, have seen me struggle with not being able to balance it all and being anxious, being overwhelmed a lot. And I think you've actually both on like similar occasions said you're so much more level now, and I'm really proud of that.
Well, I think we get to speak to some amazing individuals through the Runna Podcast and through our kind of exciting networks, and doing so many of the people at the top of their game, particularly in sport, in running, doing Olympians, they have to devote their life to running 100%, or whatever their sport is, and they have to sacrifice so much to be able to get to the top of their game. And you're one of the most well-followed runners in London and an enormously influential person running this incredible business of Anya Culling, while also running at the same level now where you represent your country. So I think to be able to do these two crazy jobs is so hard, and I think having to find a way to let them be sustainable for you is the key.
I think it's the support as well, and I'm now working with people that support me, and like friends, and have the people around me that lift me up, and are really good and healthy for me, also keep me grounded. But yeah, I think that makes a massive difference.
And I guess you're kind of getting a lot of your social bucket probably by, as you said, overlapping that with your running, which is probably a very efficient way to do it when you don't have enough time for all of these buckets.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. And I guess attached to that, you managed to bring one of your buckets into the run yesterday. And Joe, who's sitting somewhere in the room, supported you supports you all the time, but supported you on your run yesterday. Yeah. So tell us about that, and maybe diving into the run. How did it go? What was the start line like?
Yeah. So I went into this race with like genuine confidence that it was gonna be my race. And I've said it to so many people before, but I'd kind of forgotten to, follow my own advice, that you've got to believe it's possible. And maybe it was like I did do a perfect block, and that was a short training block. And I think that's over like practice and working out what works for me. But I just felt really ready. And I had people in my corner like you, like Steph, who's one of the coaches at Runna, who's been supporting me, and like Joe, who like really believed in me and made me believe in myself again. So yeah, I went in there thinking this is going to be my race. It was hot yesterday, as we all know. I was also, Mother Nature graced me with that time of the month, and I had a really busy work week. So I felt like there were things like stacked up against me, which everybody has. But I was like, that's a waste of my energy to let any negative thoughts into my head, and I'm not even going to consider it. Like, I know I've got this. So yeah, Joe was going to run with me and pace me. And then I got to Tower Bridge, and I said, like, I've never felt this good at halfway before. And the whole start, he was like, bring it back, because my aim was to like start off conservatively and progress the pace, especially because it was hot. I think that was a good idea. So he kept being like, pull it back, be conservative. And then we got to like 18 miles just before the runner cheer zone, and he was like, Anya, I think you're going to have to go. I think you're feeling better than me. Like, just do me proud. And then I was like, I've got to do it for Joe. He's got me this far. Don't mess it up now. So I was like, okay, get to the runner cheer zone at mile 19, and then you've got it from the embankment onwards. So that was my race plan.
Yeah, when you came flying past, I was like, I don't think I've seen this before. You're 10 meters ahead of Joe. And I've seen it firsthand, I think particularly in Hackney Half Marathon last year, where we were all running relatively together. And I think, Joe, you were feeling great that day. And Anya, you were maybe slowing down a little bit. And Joe was like, oh, I've got to stay with Anya. And you were like, Joe, go ahead, leave me alone. And you were almost having a domestic on the course. Was Joe better at letting you go ahead than maybe he was at letting himself go ahead? Did he let you go, or was there a part of you that wanted to stay?
No, we'd kind of discussed it, that in the best scenario ever, I drop him. Because he... But he hasn't been focusing on running. He's doing like triathlon training. But I also thought he might have wanted to push it so that he got a PB. But we've had some practice. He paced me for Bermuda Marathon, and he wasn't like 10 meters in front. He was like half the course in front. And he'd like circle back at every drink station and like bring me back water. But no, we had chats and we were like, this is the race plan. I'm going to need like kind words of encouragement. Like, you look great, sweetie. Because normally he's like, you're not even trying. So yeah, we perfected it this weekend.
And you're still the reigning champion in the household.
Yeah, he's got me on every distance. I've still got him on the marathon.
So what's his PB?
2:36.
Okay, so
if he'd
neck
finished
and
with
neck.
me, it would have been a PB for him.
Okay, very cool. And there was a few other differences for you on last year's London Marathon, having Joe as a pacer. But last year you ran in the elite pen.
Yeah.
So tell us about the difference between running in the elite pen and then maybe the experience you had this year.
Yeah. I think the elite pen was actually more nerve-wracking. I preferred being in the masses this year, just like with friends and knowing that I could hide like in the masses. And part of the reason I love running so much is it is a team sport, and the people that are around you, you're not racing against them. Like, you're all working together to get the most out of yourself. And I missed that last year, having no one around me. And it was like all you could hear was your own internal monologue. And it's very loud when you're by yourself, and all the self-doubt like creeps in. It's not like an angel and a devil on your shoulder. It's like two devils being like, help, what are you doing to yourself?
And I guess for those not aware, and I'm sure all of us in the room maybe saw London, but for those at home, London Marathon's different to some of the other marathons where the elites set off in front, the elite women set off in front on their own, which makes it a very lonely race when there aren't that many women and they spread themselves out. And you, I guess, had the whole of the 42Ks last year running on your own. And now this year you're in the herd with all the men. You've got people running around you, and that's kind of doing so much of it is so helpful in terms of mirroring people's cadence and everything else. And probably for you having such a strong race, and we can come onto it, but you ran a negative split. That must have been so motivating, being able to overtake people as they all started to fade in that second half maybe.
Yeah, I feel kind of bad saying it because I know so many people struggled. And I think if you grit out a hard race, that's more impressive than if you're like in this flow state, just like flying. But I really did feel like I was going to smash it. Like, there was never a part of me that doubted my race plan. And I was like, you've got one job and it's going to be to negative split this. And yeah, I thrive with having people around me, and the support this year was like crazier than ever. It was like a solid wall of noise, and so I'm so grateful for like everybody out there. And yeah, I just loved it, and I just felt like I was back being myself again.
And your second half was ever so slightly faster than the first, which is very impressive. So Coach Anya, you're leading by example.
But Ben's asked me to do that in every race I've ever done. And he's like suggested that. And I've been like, no, I'll just go out hard and I'll cling on for dear life. And now I'm like, oh, he does know what he's talking about.
Well, I think when me and Steph both gang up on Anya, she has to listen to us. I guess part of your race strategy is your outfit. Tell us about what you lined up with on the start line, your watch, your shoes, your kit. What was empowering you to feel like Superwoman? Yeah,
that's a big part of it, and I do plan my race outfit quite far in advance. I want something bright because I want to feel like invincible on the day. I want to feel so good. I think that's a really big part of my running. When I don't feel great, I wear like black and I want to like blend in, and when I want to feel like Superwoman, I'm like, let's put on my cape. I wore race briefs, which are like, I think they call them buns. Like, they're like race knickers, basically. But I just feel really cool in them. They have no performance benefits. And then a pink crop top. I wore my heart rate monitor, which has been pretty big in my training this block. I was like, I'm going to do a lot more like heart rate training.
Did you do an arm or a chest strap?
I had my watch, I had my sunglasses, I had my necklaces, I had my gold hair clips like a crown, I had all my splits written on my arm, I had my nails done to match, I had my fake tan on, I spent so long getting ready the morning of the race, it stressed everyone out.
So did you spend longer, or did Joe spend longer prepping his kit?
Oh, no, Joe's really methodical and I'm not. And like, I would prefer not to think about the race until I have to. So I basically plan nothing until the morning of.
What, and just pull together this like 12-piece outfit with all the hair and everything? Well, I planned it,
but it wasn't in a bag. I had to like pack the bag in the morning. I hadn't put my race bib on, my numbers on, anything.
Yeah. And the shoes?
I wore, I warmed up in my normal, which are the Lululemon Beyond Feels, and then I ran in some carbons, which were Puma.
Nice. And then I guess your race strategy, what about the fueling? What did you go for? And
Yeah.
talk us through the fueling you did yesterday.
So I've been working on my fueling. I've recently got into triathlon and cycling, and I've realised in most endurance sports, it's like a carb game. And in running, we're so far behind. We all talk about the wall in running, which is like a set place, and it happens to so-called everybody at a set point. And in no other endurance sport is there an exact wall, and that's because they focus so much more on fueling. I know it's coming into the running world, but people who win triathlons are people who can take on the most carbs. So I was like very much like, I'm gonna fuel as much as I can, and I practiced it a long time into my training. And you can see in like some mild races and other people's races, when they get underfueled, their heart rate drops, which means they can't keep the pace up that they were. And so I was really happy to see that my pace kept going up and my heart rate kept going up, and it like maxed out at 195, which is pretty high. That was like the last few kilometers. But I took a gel probably every 20 minutes. So 20 grams of carbs every 20 minutes.
What brand of gels are you going for?
I had Morton gels, and I alternated between caffeine and non-caffeine. The morning of, I sipped a 320 carb mix, which has about 80 grams of carbs in. And then I had a bar which had 50 grams of carbs in, like an energy bar, which worked perfectly.
And your breakfast, did it consist of any real food or just this drink in the bar?
It actually was just the drink in the bar. But I'd done that in training, really, and just kind of relied on gels.
And then what were you most excited for food-wise to celebrate? What was your post-run food and drink?
We had some pints, we had some champagne, and we had a roast dinner, which was really nice. And then some more pints.
And you're somehow still sprightly, full of energy today.
It must be adrenaline. Yeah, just running on it.
Amazing. And I guess, how did you find the crowd this year?
It was so good. And it's like a wall of noise, and it's so easy just to hear the wall. And then you kind of think about it and you're like, that whole noise is each individual person shouting your name. And then I get really emotional. I got emotional just before Cutty Sark. I got emotional on Tower Bridge. And every time I was like, calm down, calm down. And then I'd see like a camera and I'd play up to the camera. And then Joe would be like, ignore the cameras, you've got a race to run. But the support was so crazy. And I know I'm biased, but also the two best cheer zones that I was most looking forward to as well were Runna at mile 21 and then Lululemon. Sorry, mile 19 and Lululemon at 21. And then I was like, once I get to those, I'll know they'll give me the energy, and then it's just the last 10K, and I know I've got it. But yeah, it was so good, and my parents were out there, and it's just why I love London Marathon. It's like people who don't even know you believe in you, and then you're like, well, if they believe in you and they have no idea who I am or they don't know me, I better believe in myself.
I guess like so much of that is positive. Is there any part of you that feels the pressure, having all of these people in London screaming your name, following on Instagram, like? Or have you managed to find such a perfect balance with it that it just motivates you and is all good?
Yeah, I think I put too much pressure on myself after I ran 2:34, thinking that, should I be aiming for the Olympics? Should I? And like, ultimately, I've got to where I am now by just making small steps, small progress. So there was no point in jumping to thinking, I'm going to go to the Olympics. So yeah, I've kind of worked through putting too much pressure on myself and like overthinking it. And now I'm like fully simplified running, and it's just something I love. And the people around me mean nothing. Like the support is like nothing but good, and I don't need to overthink it. There's no like ulterior motive to any of it. Like, yeah, just enjoy it. Just run well.
And I guess that's probably the best way to lead you to the Olympics one day long term, should that happen, is learning to love it, doing that every month, every year, because you love it.
Yeah.
And long-term hard work, you never know where that takes you.
Yeah. Like, I've never been happy in this block. So I was kind of surprised that I was kind of going into it with I wanted to run as well as I could without changing my lifestyle, because I just wanted I had such a good balance. Like now, maybe if I wanted to push on a bit further, I could, make some small lifestyle adjustments, but like it's tiny. But I was like, I don't want to leap forwards and do that. I wasn't ready. Let's just like take it step by step again. And I was so surprised that I didn't. I was still eating like 2 M&S cookies every single day without fail.
So you could always go down to 1.
Yeah.
And I guess attached to that, you love your triathlon. Does it make you think differently about goals looking ahead?
So my next race is London T100. And then I was like, oh, maybe let's go back and do some triathlons. But now I'm back in my running era, I think. So that'll be a hobby thing. And then I want to keep pushing my running.
So running will be the priority, and you'll do triathlon because you're doing some cross training. That's benefiting your running. There'll be a fun day out, but the focus is the running races.
Yeah. I've got Hackney Half coming up. I have booked into Valencia at the end of the year, but I was umming and ahhing whether to do it. But going to chat to Coach Steph on Thursday about next steps.
Very, very exciting. And so you said that the block went perfectly. It was a slightly shorter block than you're used to.
Yeah.
Talk us through your training and maybe what went so well.
Yeah. So the last few marathons I'd done a lot alone. And I think maybe that was the pressure on myself and being a bit scared of the people that knew me and like feeling, the pressure of having a like social media presence and things like that. Whereas this time I was like, it doesn't matter. The way I got really good was chasing faster people. So I went back to my club, which was Clapham Chasers, and did probably at least one, mostly 2 sessions a week with them. And it's actually great because Sam, who runs the sessions, uses Runner too. So would play the Runner warm-up and have the whole of the club doing it. And then a lot of the sessions were that. So that was perfect. And so I only did 8 weeks because I didn't want to peak too early or burn out, and I knew 8 weeks I could stay focused for. I had New York half in the run up to it, and I knew that would keep me motivated. And I knew that I can gain a lot of fitness in that time. I think I'm always shocked about how much fitness you can gain in just a few weeks. And it went really well, and I was hitting paces that I just never believed I could. And instead of going in with, like, this is your PB pace, this is the pace you've got to hit, it was more like, start conservatively and we'll progress the session. And I did that on every single one of my long runs. So that's when I was like, I know that's going to be my race day plan too, because I've never managed to do that in every session before. And then I managed it on race day.
And I guess just to give us all context, what does a normal week of Anya's 8-week training load look like? What kind of mileage were you running?
I peaked at 150 kilometers. That's about, I don't know how many miles.
That's just under 100 miles.
Just under 100 miles, yeah. I was averaging about 130 kilometers. Monday was my easy runner run, and then I would double in the evening. I wouldn't say anyone needs to double unless they're really comfortable at doing that. Then Tuesday would be track, and then I'd easy double in the evening. Wednesday, midweek, longish run. Thursday, tempo, and then maybe an easy double. Friday, a complete rest day, and I haven't done that for a while. And I thought rest days, I had the impression last time, like, oh, I don't need a rest day, I'm too strong. Like, oh, that would make me look weak. I loved having a rest day where I did nothing. Saturday, easy run. Sunday, big session.
And I guess just for all of our context, when you say you did an 8-week build, it wasn't like you were doing no running before.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just more like hobby running, but I do just love miles anyway. So I was doing quite a lot before.
Nice. And then maybe what does the next few weeks of running look like? Are you massively dropping it down? Are you just going to run for fun when you fancy it? What's your thinking before maybe trying to dial up for Hackney, like you said?
I think just run for fun, take all the pressure away. Although this was the first block where like I got to the taper and I was really sad. Like other times, maybe I've been like overtraining, underfueled, and I got to taper and I like could not wait to reduce the volume. Whereas this time I was like, oh, I'm on such a roll. It's a real shame that it's come so soon.
I think that really is a testament to finding balance and kind of having your running in a great place where you're desperate to go out and do another run. And I think like for normal people who aren't quite as crazy as you, I think what I've always said as a coach, when you finish your marathon, do not run for the whole week that follows it so that you're really excited to go back and do your next run, rather than forcing yourself to go on a run on the Wednesday or the Tuesday that follows when you're still a little bit sore and resenting that run. I think having that desire for more is the best thing for keeping that long-term love of it.
Yeah, and throughout the whole training, I took rest days and easy days, like really easy. I wanted every session to get the most out of myself in it, like go into it really intentional to hit the paces I needed to do. I would like fuel before my big Sunday session like I would a race. I'd almost treat it like a race. I'd hydrate the days before. I'd sleep really well. I'd have everything lined up so that I could get the most out of that session. Otherwise, I felt like it was a bit of a waste.
And you mentioned that you were looking forward to some celebratory drinks at the end of the run.
Yeah.
Would you drink over that 8-week period?
No, I didn't. No, I actually didn't. I had a couple of drinks in South Africa, but I hadn't drunk in the UK this year.
Nice. And will you drink the rest of the year outside of a big block, or what's your feeling with drinking and training?
It's changed a bit, like as my lifestyle's changed. I don't go out as much, and that's also because most of my friends are in a similar situation. I do still drink. I definitely don't have the healthiest diet. So it's nothing to do with that. I just love being busy right now and I don't really have time for a hangover.
No, fair enough. So I guess following the marathon, we need to recover.
Yeah.
How's the body feeling? I know we've only had 24 hours. How do you feel right now?
I actually feel really good. And I think that's down to a few things. Well, I was really prepared for the marathon itself, and I knew it was going to be really hot because the London Marathon was like slightly later this year than normal. So I'd actually been like heat preparing. I was saunering every other day for 20 minutes for the last at least a month. And I was doing, I don't know whether it just mentally helped me. Who knows whether it actually helped. I was doing like contrast therapy, so I'd jump in an ice bath for 2 minutes, 20 minutes in the sauna, ice bath for 2 minutes. And maybe that was just like me getting comfortable being uncomfortable. So I think I'm not too dehydrated because of that. I know a lot of people like cramped up because it was so hot. I had a lot of electrolytes the day before to stop me cramping up, and it was to get the salt in my body. And then fueling on the day well also helps your body recover. I also have not the prettiest running style, but it is efficient. I don't have much ground contact time because I take such little fast steps. I think my cadence was 220 steps a minute, which is a lot. But, we always say you got to work to get your cadence up.
Yeah, I guess by having such a high cadence, you're having less impact through each step, which maybe helps you to feel less rubbish after the marathon.
Yeah. So I think form definitely helps not feel too bad. But I genuinely am fine. I've got a numb toe.
So are you currently at a full house with 10 toenails?
No, I've always got 9.
Always?
Yeah, I just have this one toe, and it's the toe's black, not the toenail, the toe.
Oh, so that one just don't think it's coming back again?
I think it's just a dead toe now, but that's the one that really
dead
hurts.
Toenail, not a dead toe.
No, dead toe. It's the toe is black, not the toenail, the toe.
Well, hopefully it doesn't fall off.
I know, but it's been like that since Bermuda Marathon in January.
Oh, okay. I'm glad it's not been a few years. And so I guess, what are your top tips for everyone recovering from their marathon? And I guess for context, we do have a live yoga sessions running upstairs with Lululemon tomorrow morning for those who haven't booked onto that already.
Yeah, so I'm just going to do light movement. I'm going to walk around. I might do a swim if I get really itchy to do something, but I'm not going to force myself back. I'm not planning to do anything till at least Thursday. I would really like to come back and do the yoga tomorrow. That's what I'm going to take into my next block of training as well. I just want a bit more mobility.
I was going to say, you doing yoga tomorrow is like yin and yang. I can't imagine. I feel like you do no mobility at the moment. Sometimes when we lead a warm up together and reach down and touch the toes, you're a little bit away.
Yeah, and
they're quite close by at the start, so it's not that far to go.
Yeah, I'm not very good at stretching, and that's not a good example to set. And I know no one's good at stretching until it backfires and they pull something. And I just don't want that to be the reason I start stretching. And I'm going to start doing some drills. And I was speaking to this about Coach Steph earlier, and we're going to film it for Runna, to like do some drills to help my form, to help my mobility, which will help me run faster, which will help me in the next marathon blog. So that'll be coming on the Runna Instagram.
Absolutely. And is the marathon kind of the piece that matters to you the most, or is it running as a whole? Like, it's always seems to be marathon that you keep coming back to.
I love the marathon. I love how it makes me feel. I love big city marathons because it makes me love London again. Like London, everyone's really grumpy. The weather's really bad. And then like London Marathon Day, everybody is so kind and so happy and so supportive. And I'm like, this is the London we all love. So I do love that. And I love how much I push myself in the marathon. And I love the whole process of getting there more than the actual race. Like I can turn up and do a park run every week, and I know like the elite 5k runners do put so much effort into it, but for me the effort is the like progress over the weeks and weeks and weeks which have led to this one thing which may or may not go right, and it all like rides on this, and I kind of like that pressure.
And I guess also because it's so much longer and harder, you can't do it as often, and you've got to train for longer, so the big day is so much more important, I guess. And maybe you can even enjoy that or hate that big day for that little bit longer, enjoy and hate it at the same time.
Yeah, I think I do need a goal to work towards. Otherwise, I do run like willy-nilly and I get a bit lost and distracted. So I do need that. But like saying that, I think the best race I've ever done is Barcelona half. And I would like, after now I've done the marathon, I think I'm going to bring back the distance, try and get faster with the 10K and the half marathon again before I go back to the marathon. I just want to get some speed in my legs, and I think that will actually really help my marathon performance later in the year. Yeah.
Nice. And a question that we always ask all of our guests on the Runna podcast, but now that you're a guest, we ask, is it you being able to tolerate hard things that makes you able to do hard things? Doing the fact that you can go from the cold plunge to the sauna for 20 minutes and back to the cold plunge, does that make you resilient? Or is it your resilience that makes you be able to do that and to be able to do these hard things?
Yeah, you asked the guest this and I asked the guest this, but I've never really considered it myself. I do think I'm really resilient. And I think I have had that installed in me for quite a while. And I think that's because of circumstances in my life. I also think, I always say like, I'm really lucky. And I've always said that I'll not like obviously very privileged, but lucky, and like I will just go get a lottery card because I feel really lucky that day. I'm always like, I just get dealt good hands. Like, but there is a thing where you create your own luck. Yeah, I remember just like GCSE results and being like, they'll be fine because I'm lucky. Like, but then that's obviously because I put the revision in, and like the race, I was like, oh, it'll go well because I'm just on a roll. Everything's going well in my life. I'm really lucky, but I've put myself in that position. But
I think there's so much evidence that a optimistic mindset leads to optimistic results.
Yeah.
That like you mean you cannot make a leap if you don't try, and it's doing you can only take an opportunity once you've put yourself out there. And if you're nervous to do so, you don't even try, and that means you failed before you started.
Yeah, exactly. But I think I am resilient because I have that belief that I can do these hard things. Otherwise, I wouldn't sign up for them in the first place. And that is then.
So it's more of like you start resilient, and then we've got a positive feedback loop that you do hard things in training that makes you even more resilient, that gives you even more confidence to make you do even more hard things in training, and you just keep going upwards in that way.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay, well, backtracking to maybe a sillier question. What was the funniest or the silliest thing that happened or that you saw in your 26.2 miles?
I wish I saw all the like fancy dress and things. My friend got the world record for the fastest time in Crocs. His feet were vile at the end. And then the woman in front of me, I watched poop down her legs in front of me. And if anything, I was like, she's not ruining my photos. So I need to get well in front of her before the finish line. So that spurred me on. But that's happened to me in so many races now. I've watched, it was the same in Honolulu. The woman in front of me just lost complete control of her bowels. And now I'm like, I've seen it happen to the woman in front of me so many times that is my day going to come? But touch wood, hopefully not.
Maybe you'll be next.
Hopefully not.
And so you overtook her.
Yeah.
And I think I saw on your Instagram, because we haven't spoken about it yet, you climbed the field pretty aggressively throughout the run.
Yeah.
Where did you kind of start and where did you finish within the women's field?
Yeah, so this is super cool. I'm really happy with this. I started quite near the front. I was in the championship pen, so just behind the elites. I started at 23rd female, and I basically kept that. I think I was 22nd female by Tower Bridge. And then over the next like 10K, I got to like 5th female. So I was playing a game with myself, being like, count how many people you can overtake. And then there are 2 girls, which I love the way running is going, because if girls are doing really fast runs, it makes me believe that I can also run faster and faster. But also, I am a very competitive person. And there were 2 people I knew in front of me, and I could see them along the embankments. So at this point, like, I was like tunnel vision. I don't really remember the embankment. I was so like focused. I was like, got to do this now. And I was like, I've got no choice. And that's when I saw that women would poop down her legs. And I was like, okay, I've got to overtake her. And then I saw another girl in front who I follow on Strava, who we're like friends. Like, of course, I congratulated her at the end. But I was like, let's have some fun, like, let's push it, like. And I was thinking about Alex Yee and his coach being like, one last go along at the Olympics. And then I was like, okay, you've got this. And so I overtook them at 40K. So I overtook 2 girls between 40 and the end.
And as you make that overtake of the girl you knew, did she try and stay with, or was it a foregone conclusion?
Yeah, she did. And she only finished 10 seconds behind me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And did you have enough left for a sprint finish down the mile?
Yeah, I would have if I needed to.
But what, you didn't use it? You had
it
left in the tank?
I knew where she was behind me. I knew I had time on her.
But so if she had been 11 seconds quicker, would you have been faster?
Yeah, I would have sprinted.
So you didn't try hard enough?
No, I did.
None of these guys had any seconds left.
I did. It was so hot. Like, I was like hands on my knees at the end, which was
Wait, so she had 11 seconds, you didn't, or you did?
No, wait, what?
So you didn't put it all down?
I didn't. You can always find something more if you need to.
Okay, well, we need to start doing something to get all these women to sprint finish against you, and you're going to get a few extra seconds.
Yeah. I actually do. Like, I've never been that person to like taste blood in a track session in their mouth. That's probably not that healthy to do that. But I do want to, like, balls to the walls, kind of push myself one day.
Okay, I think I'll step in before we go too far. And what was your most emotional moment? Was there any point that you got a bit emotional, did you cry, anything like that, or are you hard as nails?
No, I did cry loads last year, and I got emotional this year quite a few times, but I kept being like, okay, no, that's going to spike your heart rate, that's going to make it harder to breathe. Just like focus, you can cry all you want at the end. I saw the billboard that Runna did of me at mile 5, and that was really emotional. And I was like, and I knew that was going to be. And then I was like, oh, if that's going to make you emotional mile 5, imagine the one when you see that at mile 21. But by 21, I don't remember seeing it. Like, I was just delusional at that point, like just so focused. So I didn't actually see that. But Tower Bridge always makes me emotional. Hearing friends that you don't expect to see makes me really emotional. When Joe said, like, you've got to go now, do me proud, that was emotional. The Runna cheer zone was emotional. The whole thing actually is so emotional.
So my biggest fan on Instagram is your mum. I think I haven't posted an Instagram story in the last 2 years that hasn't received an immediate like from your mum. Yeah. Did she manage to catch you on the course a few times, and was it nice to see her going past her a few times?
She'll love this so much, because the message she sent me just before we started this was like, can I listen to it live? And I was like, no, you have to wait. My mum is like my biggest supporter. She really does believe that she is the reason, like, the race went so perfectly, I think. Like, her solely. She takes all of my races so seriously, and there are so many, like, funny stories. She's like she didn't run, and she's like grown to love running like I have. We finally mastered it. She managed to pass me 2 drinks at 2 different occasions on the sides this year, whereas like previous years, she's like, I've come around the corner asking for a drink, and she'd be there with like a 2-liter bottle of water. And in her head, she's like, Anya's really thirsty, she'll love this. And I'm like, what am I meant to do with that? I can't run with 2-liter gallons of water.
At least it wasn't fizzy water.
Well, yeah, so that was the next thing I was about to say. Do you know that's the story?
No.
Oh, so when I represented England, I had to hand in my elite bottle. So I was mixing carb drink, like Morton drink. And my dad went to go get water to mix, and he knows I love San Pellegrino, and so he came back with San Pellegrino, and I was like, I can't have fizzy Morton mix, like, and he did this in front of the whole like England team, and I was like, they must think I'm like why is she on our team? Like, who is this girl? So they've learnt with me.
But so did you run for England with San Pellegrino?
No, I think I had a sense of humour failure, and actually no, one of the England coaches had to sort me out with actual water.
Okay.
But no, when I saw Mum this year, she was very emotional. She had brought all her friends and family. She has personalised Anya bucket hats that she wears. And I tell her, she met me in the pub wearing it, and I was like, Mum, it's not a fancy dress. I was wearing a full sequin suit, just like Elton John, so I didn't have a leg to stand on.
Wow, no, that is amazing. And I guess my final serious question before we move on to our this or that would be, what is your biggest long-term goal? Like, what do you want to achieve? I know you don't quite know the races for the rest of the year, but like, what is success in 5, 10, 15 years time with your running and with everything Anya Culling?
Yeah, I think I judged my success like a year ago on just my marathon time. And now I'm like, you know, you can't determine your own self-worth on a number. And that's why I say to people who, when their race didn't go perfectly, like this weekend, I'm like, that number that isn't your perfect number doesn't take away from all the hard work you've put in for the last 8, 10, 12 weeks. Like, that means nothing, basically. So the goalpost shifted for me, and I wanted success in my career. I wanted to inspire people, and I'd love to leave a legacy which is just like, if she could do it, then why can't I? Because I'm not special. I don't have this innate sporting ability. Like, I didn't grow up doing the sport. My parents are not sporty. Like, I'm just really resilient. I put my mind to something, and I love working hard and achieving things. Like, I'm going on a tangent again, but nothing's ever like come easy. Like, even at school, I was never like gifted. I had to work hard, and then I got the results. So I've always had that, like, you have to work hard and then you reap the rewards. So yeah, I want success in my job. I want to, you know, show people that they are more capable than they think. And I would like to get better and better at running. And I'd like to get back in England vest as soon as possible. I'd love to PB by the end of the year. And keep plugging away, keep enjoying it mainly. And yeah, being able to make a career out of what I love.
Well, you are very young in the world of marathon running, so there's such a long scope ahead of you. And I think, to add to everything you said, I think you are extremely hardworking, not just with your running, but everything you do behind the scenes every day at Runna as well. And you're inspiring so many, not everyone in this room, not only everyone in this room, but everyone listening and everyone who follows you every day.
Thank
as well.
you.
We have some sillier questions.
Okay.
So you'll have to tell me off for how silly these are. But would you rather go and run London Marathon again right now, or we go on your Strava and we delete it and we rewind time and yesterday never happened?
I'd go run London Marathon again. My legs are fine. It'd hurt, but I'd just redo it and love it and be a bit more conscious doing it.
Fair enough.
I'd jog it though.
Yeah. Very impressed. Would anyone else in the room go and run a marathon right now, or would you rewind? Hands up for rewind. Hands up for go and run a marathon right now.
Right.
Okay, so that's 99% run the marathon right now. We had 1 for rewind.
Yeah.
Right, number 2. So we know you like to look fantastic on every start line and every finish line. Would you rather line up for your next marathon in your dad's old t-shirt and some baggy jeans, or line up for your next marathon in your normal outfit, but the 3 months prior, we put you in a room with no windows, you're completely pale, and you're not allowed any fake tan?
I really think it might be my dad's No, I don't like to do it in jeans.
Okay, your dad's skimpy pants.
Yeah, his boxers.
Yeah, your dad's boxers and a baggy t-shirt.
I'd do that. Like, I'd play it off as, like, this is my new cool grungy get up.
Right, well, we'll let Lululemon know and they can start manufacturing.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure your mum will be delighted to know your dad loses his favourite shirt. Final one.
Yeah.
Would you rather do all of your training on the treadmill,
Mm.
so you can never run outside, or all of your training is outside, but in the dark and it's raining?
In the dark and raining, I actually don't mind it. And you said training, so at least the race might not be. And I think training, you train hard, so you race easy, and it's those hard sessions in the dark that I like draw upon when I need it. I also do most of my training at 5 a.m., which is in the dark most of the year. And London is just rainy anyway. It doesn't bother me. I hate treadmill running. I've been on a treadmill once in like 2 years. I just like being outside. Like, that's why I do it. It's not to stare at a wall.
Well, I don't doubt you, given every Strava upload, or 50% of them are at least 5 a.m. or well before I've kind of started my day. So it's very, very impressive. And I think it's probably not unfeasible feasible for you to do that.
Go to sleep before 8:30 every night.
So what is a normal Anya Culling routine?
We genuinely go to sleep at like 8:30, which is crazy. But I know I could have an extra 2 hours, but I'd just be sitting on the sofa. Whereas I can like go for a run, I can meet my friends for breakfast, and then still get to work. And like, I've had such a chilled morning, and I love getting it out the way early. Otherwise, I think about my run for the rest of the day and what I'm eating, and it plays over in my mind my track session for the evening. I'd prefer just to get it done.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I often go into the office. I often have a podcast recording. I often have like some photo shoots for Lululemon. I help some people with coaching with Runna. Yeah, I love my job, and I'm very lucky to have it. And yeah.
I guess final question that we like to ask everyone on the podcast is about building your dream race.
Mm-hmm.
So if you could build your dream race, where would it be? How far would it be? See if I can remember it. What's the food and drink at the finish line, and who's giving out the award?
Yeah, I actually hadn't thought about this because it's been so busy. I knew I would have known this question was coming, but I didn't think. I like the idea of like a team kind of like relay race. I like watching people and then knowing your turn's coming up and then going for it. Maybe like everyone runs a half marathon though, because I like distance. So it's going to be quite a long race here. I also do love cycling. Maybe cycling's going to... Oh, actually, I'm thinking too. It's going to be a half marathon. It's going to be in Battersea Park because all my training's Battersea Park and it's so flat. Yeah, that's going to be that. And then the post-race food and drink. This is just my normal Sunday, I'm realising. Just a half marathon Battersea Park.
Well, and then to the pear tree.
And we go for like a roast dinner normally, and then I have a donut. An ice-sized baby from Donut Time donut, which is my favourite thing. And then who would give me my awards?
Was this with a San Pellegrino as well?
Yeah, sparkling water. Or like a 0% beer normally. I think my biggest inspiration actually is Alex Yee or Lucy Charles Barkley. It is Lucy Charles Barkley, who's also a triathlete, but after the weekend, it's now Alex Yee.
Nice. Well, you have to stay tuned. We have an episode with Lucy Charles Barkley coming out, and it was actually very funny because I'm very used to everyone fangirling Anya, but I got to watch Anya fangirl Lucy. So that wraps up our final question. So to wrap up the podcast, wanted to make sure everyone listening at home and everyone here knows you can order or buy any of our Runna merchandise you can see next to you or on the Runna website, and you will have 15% off using the code in the premium offers section of the Runna app. If you haven't downloaded the Runna app yet, you can get a 2-week free trial with code podcast25. We want to say a huge thank you tonight for Lululemon for supporting us, supporting Anya with all of her training, and supporting us with our live podcast recording today. And we want to say a huge well done to everyone in the room and everyone online who ran London Marathon yesterday, So a big round of applause for all of you. And otherwise, from Anya and I, thank you very much for listening in and joining us live for our very first live Runna Podcast.
Thank you, everybody.
Today's podcast is powered by Runna. Runna is the #1 rated running coaching service worldwide. And whatever your running goal, whether you're looking to do your first 5K, improve your time over the 10K, or even run a marathon or an ultra marathon, we'll build you the personalized training for you to help you get there and enjoy the process along the way. If you want to download the Runna app, you'll get 2 weeks for free with code podcast25. And if you're already a Runna customer, you can head to the premium offers section where we've got a 15% off discount for you off any of our Runna merchandise.
And if you enjoyed today's episode, please like, share, subscribe. And if you loved it, give us a 5-star rating. And we'll be back next week with another inspiring guest. See you then.